Mock Tuah.
We got another mock draft coming right at you here.
Spit on that thing.
Let's jump into it. All right. Welcome back to a Standard Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jono.
And I'm your host, Chris.
And we are bringing you another mock draft. We changed up the format slightly. It's still going to be standard scoring here, but we are doing a 3-wide receiver league, single flex instead of dual flex. And we're going to go for 13 rounds again. No kickers, no defenses here. So I believe I am drafting out of the 11 spot, and Chris is drafting out of the 5 spot. A couple new positions for us, too, to give you sort of an inside look on how we would draft out of these positions. I actually love the 11 spot, and unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to have an opportunity to do it because of Juan Soto.
Yeah, and I have Cattell Mate.
Yeah, just to put it out there, every year in our league, the winner gets to choose how the draft order is decided, and our winner last year, Jesse, shout out Jesse.
Shout out.
Chose a home run race where we all, post All-Star break for the MLB, picked a player that had at least 16 home runs and was not injured, and we see who has the most home runs in a 3-week span till August 8th. And so we'll know our draft here in a couple weeks. Juan Soto's on fire for me. Santander for Nick, who has been our guest drafter for quite some time, and we mentioned him a lot. And Marte was a surprise pick for Chris. We thought he was trying to tank it to get that late pick.
Guy's got 4 home runs since All-Star break.
You can't say you weren't trying to tank it.
I wasn't trying to take it.
You can't say with a straight face you weren't trying to take it.
There's a certain savant genius to me, mixed with a little bit of autism. But, that is why I chose Marte.
No, I think you just sold your soul, like I said, and you plead the fifth every time I bring that up.
I did not sell my soul.
I'm just saying.
I did not sell my soul. If I sold my soul, I would have at least seen a championship on one of my professional sports teams in my lifetime, but I haven't seen any. All right?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I haven't sold my soul.
Mets, Jets, Islanders.
Yeah.
So if everybody's
It's been
wondering.
a struggle. Go Grimace.
All right, well, we'll get into this draft here. Biggest thing here that we want to look to see to do is try and, in my opinion, give you guys an inside, in-depth look into our thought processes and if we want to go for a certain type of draft style here. Being at the 5th position, this couldn't have been better for you right here. The fact that 4 receivers go in a standard draft, I doubt that's ever going to happen. But you never know. People may be worried about Christian McCaffrey for some reason.
Well, it's also, the format changed up a little bit to where you start 3 receivers and you have a flex. So seeing receivers go early doesn't surprise me. I'm still going to go to McCaffrey. I'm going to break that trend.
I had a conversation the other day with one of my coworkers. Who are you most confident taking at the 1 overall spot in any format?
McCaffrey.
And McCaffrey's the only one that I could come in my mind right now that makes sense.
And I could make an argument for a lot of the top receivers.
Any of them.
And I can make an argument for any of these top receivers on why you shouldn't take them in the 1st overall.
Yeah. But can you make an argument of why you shouldn't take Christian McCaffrey?
No.
If Madden cover is your argument, that is a weak one to bring to the table.
It's a weak one to bring to the table, but it's also... I know you've thrown this around before where it's hard for an RB1 overall to repeat the next year. And I know that there is history. There is history behind it. However, McCaffrey is, he's not going to run for 2,000 yards.
No.
But he's going to get you 2,000 all-purpose.
But
he's
I don't think
so heavily involved.
Is there a running back in the league that's going to do 2,000 yards?
You just never know. I mean, there's always...
There's just so many more committees than there were in the past.
Yeah, but at the same time, you do have guys that have breakout years. And
True.
You do have guys that just there's an injury behind them. They're the only guy there, and they're really making the most of it. Sorry,
just pause the draft so I can get a second here while we're talking right here.
I mean, go ahead.
All right, so Jefferson, Lamb, Hill, Chase go in the first 4. Chris goes McCaffrey at the 5 spot. St. Brown. Then you get a run on 2 running backs with Bijan and Breece Hall, which is kind of that spot, that 6, 7, 8 spot is where you're seeing these guys go. If they fall past that, I think that's where value is. I don't even care if it's 9 spot to get Bijan or Breece is, I think, a nice little steal there. A.J. Brown and Garrett Wilson go, and I'm going to speak candidly here, there is a guy on this list that should not be drafted after any of these next couple receivers except Puka Nacua. And I've been pretty vocal about it so far, and that's Devontae Adams. And Chris, you're kind of on the train for Devontae Adams with me. That if there's a person out there that can get 170, 180 targets and have massive output, there's only a few in the league that have that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, he's my favorite second-round pick, and I don't care where you get him. I don't care if he's at the turn or he's later on in it. Like, the fact that he's going in, the second round is disrespectful to him based on the volume that he's getting.
Yeah, and because he's going to the second round, I'm taking Puka here because he won't make it around to me. Taylor and Drake London go. The fact that Drake London is going ahead of Devontae Adams just blows my mind. So here's the situation I'm in here. I can go with the rookie with the upside of Marvin Harrison Jr. I can go with Devontae Adams because I'm going to go double wide receiver. I'm going to go 0 RB, I think, this draft. I think that's kind of the attack I want to go, especially with 3 wide receiver. I have more confidence in the consistency of Devontae Adams, even though I know Marvin Harrison Jr. is a fantastic wide receiver. He's still on the Arizona Cardinals. He's still with Kyler Murray. And you look at how many receivers Kyler Murray has had that have been 1,000-yard receivers on a consistent basis, like through his career. One, Murray hasn't been that healthy. I think D-Hop did it his first year there in Arizona, and that's it. So I know Harrison's going to do it because he's a fantastic receiver, but I feel more comfortable with Devontae Adams and his output. I think Devontae finishes top 5 this year.
Yeah, you can't be mad at it. Josh Allen finally goes.
Yeah, Barkley, Gibbs, Marvin Harrison finally, ETN, Josh Allen with Team 6 here right before Chris's pick. Chris on the board.
Well, I think at this point, because I went running back in the first round and got Christian McCaffrey, I need to start smashing wide receiver.
Yeah, this is a big wide receiver draft so far here.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of people that have gone. I don't have him in any one of my drafts just because I haven't really been in a position. I've always kind of gone Devontae Adams in the middle of the round. But I'm going to go Chris Olave here.
Yeah, I mean, the upside's there for a guy who actually, I would say his upside is capped because of one thing.
Derek Carr.
Yeah. That's the only thing that's the only reason why I've strayed away from him.
And this is great because it's kind of like Mike Evans drops to me, Nico Collins drops to me, and Mike Evans sitting there and he's another one that I don't think Drake London should be getting drafted over. I don't think that Ayuk should be drafted over Mike Evans. The volume of work.
I don't think Olave should be drafted over him.
No, but I wouldn't have had Olave there. I mean, I agree with you.
He wouldn't have swung around.
He wouldn't have swung around.
Yeah. Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Waddle, Moore. I was hoping for a combo of Diggs or Waddle dropping to me here. Then Mahomes goes right before me. Again, I'm in this situation where I kind of feel like I want to sit here and continue my 0 RB. So I have a choice here with Kels, Malik Neighbors, Pittman according to ADP. Metcalf, Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith. Normally, this is where I'd hammer Cooper Kupp, but I already have Puka, and I don't want to go with both of them. Devonta Smith is enticing because the guy is a 1,200-yard multi-touchdown opportunity. Pittman's around that same boat, and I think Malik Neighbors is, if he can get it together with Daniel Jones, the guy's going to put up outstanding numbers because who else is Daniel going to want to throw to? I'm going to go with the upside for my wide receiver 3 with Malik Neighbors as a Giants fan here. In the hopes that the tight end, Kels, did not fall to me here. Continuing with the trend, I think this is where I'm going to hammer my quarterback. 0 RB, I have a choice between Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson. I don't feel confident Richardson will make it back to me in the end of the 5th. I don't want necessarily a pocket passer this early. So if I'm going to take a guy, I want a guy that has opportunity with his legs, and I'm going Lamar Jackson here. Rachaad White, James Cook, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Trey McBride.
And Michael Pittman swung down to me.
Which is great.
That's
what happens. I mean, that's what you got to watch for is the value that drops down because of quarterbacks, tight ends that get picked in these first 5 rounds. Zay Flowers, Kenneth Walker, C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon, Devonta Smith, Aaron Jones, Mark Andrews, Tank Dell, and right back at Chris again here, who has 3 wide receivers and 1 running back through 4 rounds.
And looking here, I don't think I'm going to have the opportunity to go and get one of these other wide receivers. So the next couple guys are T. Higgins, George Pickens, and Amari Cooper. I don't really have a lot of Amari Cooper this year, but I really like him, and I think that he's going to be he's an undervalued player. I talk about a guy that's been pushed down the draft boards, and we're talking 5th round right now, that I'm able to go and get him. I love that, so I'm going to go ahead and take Amari Cooper here.
So the thing, let's just talk about ADP for a second here. I'm going to pause the draft for 30 seconds to quick talk about this. When you're looking at ADP, you could see it in the bottom left corner here. You had Amari Cooper behind Pickens and T. Higgins in ADP.
Yeah.
But if you look at what Sleeper has him for in terms of projections for yardage and projections for fantasy points, he's above those 2 guys. And I feel like you got to be careful when looking at ADP because it doesn't necessarily project out exactly saying, oh, this guy is above Amari Cooper, but he may not be finishing fantasy points-wise above Amari Cooper because ADP is a calculated average of where these guys are being drafted. Now, obviously, Amari Cooper in dynasty leagues is not being drafted that high because of his age versus people like T. Higgins and George Pickens will be, so they get some inflation into their ADPs. So that's
sure.
something you got to keep an eye out for.
They do get inflation on the ADP, but it's also people like just drafting them because they know they're not going to be there, and it's. I mean, I don't care what someone's ADP is. Like, I'll go and a guy that's projected in the 5th round, I'll take in the 4th round if I know I'm not going to have access to him,
Correct,
or if I like him over anyone that's sitting in the 4th. Like, I value. Let's just say, because let's look at some 4th round guys that went. Amari Cooper, I would have taken Amari Cooper over Tank Dell and Zay Flowers.
I would have. I have him right on board with Metcalf and Pittman.
Yeah, I mean he's
and Cup.
I think the reason Amari Cooper specifically is getting pushed down is because Deshaun Watson is coming back off an injury, and people aren't really sure what that passing offense is going to look like.
Yeah. That's true, but if you go look at the numbers with Amari Cooper with Deshaun Watson last year, that guy would have finished top 4 at the position for the whole season.
I'm still okay with it. To draft him as my number 4.
All right, we'll get back into the draft here. I'm in my 5th round. After Amari Cooper was picked, you had George Pickens, Anthony Richardson, Dalton Kincaid, who was one that I was hoping would last a little bit further down to me for the swing. Kamara and Connor, which were going to be my next picks because I'm going 0 RB. So this is the risk you play with 0 RB. It's 5th round. I have T. Higgins. I have Keenan Allen, Christian Kirk at the wide receiver positions, Terry McLaurin, Rome Odunze, Jaden Reed, Jordan Addison. In terms of that, I'm going to stick with the 0 RB, and I'm going to go with T. Higgins here because the value in the 5th round I love on this offense. And there's no running back here that I need to have that I'm afraid that Team 12 was going to snipe for me. But that being said, I am going running back here. Here's where I think there's some great opportunities for 0 RBs to be your RB1. Connor's my number 1 when it comes to that. Connor and Kamara, because where you could get them. Aaron Jones has also been falling down past Connor or Kamara in some drafts as well. But DeAndre Swift or Ramondre Stevenson are the 2 that I have in mind that are going to have lion's share of the backfields. That being said, one of them is going to have an offense that's built around them. The other one is going to be a piece to a offense that has a lot of skill players in that. And the one that's going to have the offense built around him is Ramondre Stevenson versus DeAndre Swift is going to play a role in Chicago's offense. Caleb Williams is going to be the leader of that offense with 2 premier receivers and a good veteran tight end. I just think DeAndre Swift can get lost. And for my RB1, I want a guy with consistent volume, and that's Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, for sure.
Kyle Pitts, DeAndre Swift, Dak, Rome Odunze, Terry McLaurin, and Chris here with 4 receivers. Again, let's remind everybody that this is a 3-receiver league with a flex. And Chris is up.
You know who I'm going to pick.
Kittle?
Of course.
Yeah.
Like, and the last
Just
draft,
a little Kittle for you?
Just a little Kittle.
Little Kittle.
But the last draft we did, I waited on tight end and ended up taking 2 in the last 2 rounds because I did wait and I got kind of screwed over with it. My own fault, but still. Sitting here in...
Just real quick, 5 receivers go afterwards. Kirk, Addison, Reed, Hollywood, and Godwin, along with Ingram, built into that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of going to hero running back strategy here. You went 0, I went hero, and I think I'm going to continue that. I got my tight end. The only other thing I could do is go and get quarterback here, which actually... So here's my dilemma.
Yeah,
I really
think
like
out loud. Think out loud
I
here.
really like Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
I have 4 receivers already, but I don't think I'm going to have an opportunity at Jordan Love again. So I really like Jordan Love this year. I think pair him up with any one of his wide receivers and you're going to have a good day. You're going to have a good year.
Well, let's just think about it. We got 50 seconds here. Let's think about it. You don't think Love will fall to you. There's only one team. I mean, yes, we have the computers here. So you got to always know that they're going to draft a little bit more weird than people will. But you have all but one team that has a quarterback already. So this 7th team team 9 has a chance in the next
but if
2 picks to grab it.
Right. If I lose him in those 2 picks there, then I'm dropping down to Caleb Williams, Brock Purdy, Tuah. Yeah. And I like Jordan Love a lot more than that. So I'd rather take the running back or wide receiver that falls down to me.
Gotcha.
Rather than lose on Love.
Yeah. Najee, Bowers, Worthy, Rice, McConkey. Man. Well, you know what? That does it for me here. So this is standard. If this was PPR, I'd be hammering Deontay Johnson right here. But I'm going to go with the one that you liked, and I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley. I like D-Hop or Ridley. So if Ridley went, instead of Rice and McConkey and Ridley were gone, I'd be going D-Hop here. I just like the opportunity for these wide receivers in Tennessee. And then coming back, I have a tough decision here. Not that tough. I feel like you got a 0 RB. You got to hammer guys with volume opportunities. And to me, you've got Zamir White. You've got Zach Moss, you've got Javonte who's taken with the ones right now, Singletary. Those are and Brian Robinson are kind of like your last 4. And I'm going to take the highest ranked one here on an offense where I don't love the running backs behind him. And it's going to be hard for him to lose this job, and that's Zamir White. So I'll take Zeus. Deontay goes, Jonathan Brooks, Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert, Nick Chubb. Here go the running backs.
I was afraid that was going to happen. So you kind of said it too. I'm going to go ahead and take Javonte Williams. He's going with the ones right now. Even if he does get moved on from that team, he's still going to be – he's going to go to a team where he's going to make an impact.
If he flashes like he did and looks like he did his rookie season, everybody's got to remember he had the ACL injury. He came back early, and he just didn't look himself. Well, nobody's really looked themselves after ACL. Saquon didn't, and then he came back last year and looked more like his rookie self as well. So I think Javante's getting a bad rap in the media right now. I think he's going to be perfectly fine.
And because of the run on running backs, now we really lost. I might have waited another round, and I'm not going to. I have only two running backs right now. Have my quarterback, have my tight end, have 4 wide receivers. So I'm going to smash running back again. I'm going to go get Brian Robinson.
Yeah, that's the one you don't want to wait on and lose. So Njoku went after Javonte pick, D-Hop, Trey Benson, Caleb Williams, Keon Coleman, Jalen Warren, Brian Thomas, Fergie, and then Chris picked Brian Robinson. Eckler, his teammate, went right afterwards. Purdy, Watson, Smith, and Jigba, and Singletary, who I was hoping would fall down to me here. But because he did not fall down to me here, I'm kind of in a good position that there is no real volume running back afterwards here. You can speculate it's going to be Gus Edwards with the Chargers. I don't know if I want to put my eggs in that basket. Tajay Spears is an opportunity that I think he could find his way into a higher percentage of snaps than Tony Pollard, although he does have that lingering knee issue. So I'm going to go to ADP. I want to see who's available, see who's slipped down in terms of where they should go. And I'm looking at the tight end position here. I'm in a tight end or wide receiver position. So I'm looking at a situation where Freiermuth is the end of my I want this guy as my starter positions. So I'm looking at Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, Cole Kmet, Pat Freiermuth, Luke Musgrave, Taysom Hill. I'm okay with any of these guys, so I'm not going to say I want to pick one of these guys here.
What you really should do, because you have 11 and 11 and then 2 more picks, is draft Tuah, because you won't have access to him, then draft Hawkinson, and then name your team Hawk
Tuah. I knew you were going to go somewhere with that. I'm instead going to go with another wide receiver here. And I'm going to go with the upside with Jamison Williams here or Adonai Mitchell. And I don't have a rookie receiver yet, so A.D. Mitchell's a guy I want to go here too. I think this guy's going to find himself in high snap percentages.
And Tuah went. You lost your opportunity.
I'm fine with that. And then Gus goes. So still 2 running backs here. I want to go back to the running back board again. Tight end wise, so many tight ends are off the board. I'm good with any of these guys here, and I can make it work. So what do I do here? And in terms of running backs, I love Chase Brown. I love Tajay Spears. Blake Corum is an interesting one to get as well to back up there. And you could always go late Chuba Hubbard, which we know is probably going to have a good opportunity at the beginning of the season and could be season long if they decide to shelve Jonathan Brooks. So I want to go with more of a high-powered offense and a guy who's going to have some receiving ability, and that's Tajay Spears. Schultz and Hawkinson go. Jamison Williams, Zeke, Jared Goff, on to Chris. In the 10th round, by the way, here.
Yeah, so I
for
think...
all our listeners.
For all of our listeners.
This is not ASMR.
Listen to the sweet sound of my voice. Let it infest your brain. I am going to continue on wide receiver here. I'm going to go with the Buffalo receiver, and I haven't drafted him. I've taken Shakir a lot. I'm going to take Curtis Samuel here just to get a piece of this offense. I was actually earlier looking in the 4th round to take Kincaid, and I passed up on Kincaid for Amari Cooper. And I do want a piece of this offense. You had a couple guys go after. So after Curtis Samuel, Tyler Lockett, Romeo Doubs, Dallas Goedert, Jaden Daniels, Blake Corum, Zach Charbonnet, Justin Herbert, Jacoby Myers. So again, being a 3 wide receiver league with a bench spot, I still want receivers. And so sitting here in the 11th round, I want to have a little bit of a conversation about this. So in years past, since he's come into the league, this guy has been taken in the top 6 rounds of drafts. This year, we're getting him probably at his healthiest in the 11th round with a better quarterback. And that's Mike Williams.
You're saying at his healthiest? He's starting on the PUP list.
He is staying at it. He's going to start the season starting. He's on the PUP list because he's recovering from surgery.
Yeah.
But
which was week 2, by the way.
Exactly. And that was going to be my point is both with him and Rodgers, don't forget that these guys had surgery in the early part of the season, immediately. So they had all season to recover, plus the offseason. So we're looking at close to 10 months out from Mike Williams' injury.
Yeah.
And he is a guy that consistently can be a top 15 wide receiver when he's healthy.
Yeah.
And I get the injury concern with him, but you're taking him in the 11th round with Aaron Rodgers. And unless they go and make a move for Devontae Adams, he's going to be the number 2 all season.
I'll give you that. Yeah. I like Mike Williams a lot because the only person that would be taking over that position is Alan Lazard, which I get the connection with Rodgers, but Alan Lazard doesn't have the skill set that Mike Williams has.
No.
We know that.
No.
All right, so I'm sitting here. I've got 3 running backs. I've got 6 wide receivers, no tight end, and 1 quarterback. So my thought process here is running back, tight end, or running back, tight end, quarterback, because I do have Lamar Jackson, and I want to hinge my bets with those running quarterbacks. But I'm not looking to do that if I like people on the board. So first things first, I want to solidify another running back, and I love Chase Brown. I think Zach Moss is good, but I think Zach Moss's reign as this premier running back one and the numbers he put up are coming to a close. And I think they're really going to like Chase Brown at the backfield. They showed it last year, and he's got a different gear than Zach Moss. So give me some Chase Brown here. Cole Kmet goes, which I was perfectly fine with. Kendra Miller, not someone I'm picking up. And there's the guy who I said is at the bottom of, he's my last guy that I'm happy as a starter, and that's Pat Freiermuth. And I could be happy with him as my solo starter for the season, not needing another tight end. Rashid Shaheed goes, Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, Xavier Legette, Musgrave, who is another one that I would have been happy with, but I still pair him with another tight end. And you're on to Chris here with your second to last pick.
Yeah, and I think I want to go grab a running back here, but the value is not really showing me the guy I want, so I think I'm going to take him in the next pick. So I am going to go with a wide receiver here. And there's a couple guys here that are interesting. You have Josh Palmer, Josh Downs, Gabe Davis, Troy Franklin. All four of those guys, I think, for me, are going to be great depth picks where they have a lot of potential to have great seasons. Josh Palmer could end up being the number one in the Chargers.
Yeah.
Or for the Chargers. I know a lot of people are Ladd McConkey going in the 5th or 6th round, but Palmer is a guy that really can step in. Chark is another guy that you're getting for free. Quentin Johnson's another guy you're getting for free. But Palmer, I think I'm going to take here just on the upside potential. I don't need him in my lineup to be prolific. I need him to be serviceable during bye weeks. I need him to maybe be a good flex play.
Well, he could find your way into your wide receiver too if he supplants himself with Herbert as the wide receiver one.
If he's if he's a wide receiver one there,
you got
he's
him in the 12th
volume,
round.
Then you get him in the 12th round.
Dobbins, Dowdle, Judy, Gabe Davis, Gibson, Cooks, Jalen Wright, and Marshawn Lloyd go. So big run on those RBs.
So the guy I wanted to kind of fall to me at running back did. So I'm glad I kind of waited. I'm going to go and draft Tyler Algier with my last pick.
All right. Ty Chandler, Josh Downs, Ben Sinnott, Quentin Johnston, Troy Franklin goes right before me. That was going to be my last pick in this draft.
I know.
So with that being said, again, I said running back, tight end, quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver, running back, tight end were my three pieces that I was looking at to possibly do. I think I'm going to stick away. Like Baker Mayfield doesn't move the needle enough for me as a quote-unquote backup. You could find a backup that can give you the numbers he's putting up off the waiver wire if there's an injury. Deshaun Watson's enticing because Deshaun Watson does have the upside. He can actually move a little bit and showed it. Again, I don't know if I want to stick to my guns there. Will Levis is the interesting one here. He's a guy that can put up top 10 numbers with the wide receiver crew he has and receiving backs versus an actual Derrick Henry back there. I want to take this guy on the upside that maybe he has more consistency than Lamar Jackson's going to give you because Lamar Jackson does have some down weeks here and there. So why not pick a quarterback that gives me not only health-wise a backup in case anything happens to Lamar, and two, may end up being a more consistent quarterback, and at least at a bye week, I got a guy that I know is going to can put up 35 points.
Yeah, for sure.
Me. So I'm going to go Will Levis here. Maybe.
We just don't know.
But you don't know.
We do expect it to be him to be a lot better than what he was.
Yeah. Really, at the end of the day, I could have taken a shot on Jalen Polk. That was going to be my only other one because right now he is the pseudo number one in New England. But you're putting a lot of eggs in that basket with a veteran quarterback, not even the rookie quarterback. If they switch at some point, and I already have one New England player, I don't want to put my pieces in the New England basket right now.
Right.
Which we will be talking about New England and that AFC East soon. But our next episode, we will be talking about the AFC West, where we'll talk a little bit about that Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey situation, along with the rest of the teams in that division. So feel free to tune into that. But Chris, go ahead, break down your lineup, your favorite pick and one pick that you would have done differently.
Yeah, so I drafted out of the 5 position. Again, we went in a 3 wide receiver league. So wide receivers were going at the premium. Christian McCaffrey goes to the 5th and the 5th pick overall. That's got to be my favorite pick because the value there is so good. I mean, he's essentially a receiver too. So I'll gladly take that. Swing around and get Chris Olave, Mike Evans, Michael Pittman, and Amari Cooper. Love my wide receiver core, especially those top 4. A lot of volume there, a lot of big plays. I mean, you got 4,000-yard receivers right there that I just grabbed. Grab George Kittle, Jordan Love, Javonte Williams, Brian Robinson, Curtis Samuel, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, finished up with Tyler Algier. So end up with 4 running backs, 7 wide receivers, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end. I'm going to be honest with you that there's not really a ton of picks that I don't like. I wish there was a way that I wish one of these running backs, so in the what is it, the 8th round, where I grabbed Javonte Williams, there was a run on running back. So the guy I was really looking to get there was Raheem Mostert, and I was actually looking for Nick Chubb to fall one more spot. And you had Jonathan Brooks, Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert, Nick Chubb go all right in front of me in a row. I took the best available because I knew I was at that point I was going to go and grab 2 running backs. So it's just go grab the best available. Brian Robinson's going to be there in this for my 2nd pick right after that, and I was okay with that. I know the running back position looks weak on the team, but I have Christian McCaffrey, so he's carrying the workload. So in my mind, I only need to start one other running back. Christian McCaffrey is going to be my running back the entire season. I only need to start one other guy.
But I think, in my opinion, I would Nick Chubb is going to be Nick Chubb, but you got to understand, too, that he is coming off a significant knee injury. Even if he looks healthy and he's making the moves, it's still a knee injury. I think Javonte is a safer pick. I think Mostert may sieve some carries, obviously, to Devon Achane. Not as much as I think the ADP is saying, but I think Brian Robinson and Javonte Williams are 2 solid picks that are going to get volume as the RB1s there. And especially Brian Robinson, who proved he could be in the passing game. So I think I actually like how it worked out for you more than if you were to take a risk with Chubb or even with Mostert. Because even Mostert himself, there's still question marks on what the usage is going to be. Yeah, he's the RB1 there to start, but what's the usage going to be there?
I don't care. The volume in the offense is going to be better.
He only had 200 carries last year, though. And if they're saying he's going to lose carry, they want to give more to Achane. I'm okay with that. But I'm saying he could end with 150.
I'm okay with that.
I think Javonte Williams could end with 270.
But what you're going to get with Raheem Mostert is a lot more.
Well, what I'm saying is 270 versus 150. Just say those are peak numbers. I don't know if it'll go down to 150. I don't know if it'll be as high as 270.
Right.
But just say it's there. They could match in fantasy points, but the opportunity, and we're talking about a ceiling for Mostert with the touchdowns. If Javonte starts to get those numbers up in touchdowns,
you had a team that dropped 63 points on a team, and then the team that got 63 points dropped on them.
Different season.
I
different
understand
season.
It's just a better team, a better offense. I'd rather take a
don't
piece
disagree
of that.
there. I don't disagree there.
So I'd rather have a piece of that, even if it's less opportunity. It's a reason that Achane is going in the 2nd round.
I'm just saying it's your RB2.
Yes. I would have, but again, I would have rather had Mostert and Brian Robinson than Javonte Williams and Brian Robinson.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just saying I think Javonte and Brian Robinson is actually, it may work out better for you.
I'm not mad at it, but I would have rather had that. So going on to your team, take us through your draft order.
Yeah, so 11 spot is a spot I'd love to pick from. 10, 11, 12 is my ideal going into this draft if I'm not going to be number 1 because I want Christian McCaffrey. The other spot that I really like outside of it is the 5 spot where you are because you can do still a lot of stuff. Because a lot of things change and you could be a trendsetter as well. We talked about those 6, 7, 8 middle rounds being setters or, people who are changing the landscape of what the draft is looking like. But 5 can do that just as easily. So Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Malik Neighbors is my top 3. I took Malik Neighbors over top of Cooper Kupp, which would have been usually my 3rd round guy or 4th round guy because I already had Puka. Over top of DK, because I think Neighbors can have a higher ceiling than DK if he does get that rapport up there, and I just don't like Zay Flowers, and I think Pittman and Neighbors could equalize each other. I was really hoping for another receiver to come back into the 4th round. It didn't, so I went Lamar Jackson, went the quarterback there with the 0 RB. After Lamar Jackson, I went T. Higgins, and then I finally, in the 6th round, got my running back. I think that's the latest I'd wait on a 0 RB to make it an official quote-unquote 0 RB, and that gives me Ramondre Stevenson. Calvin Ridley was there afterwards. I could have easily went with another running back like Tony Pollard there and went 3 running backs in a row. Instead, took Ridley because I like the upside for him at Tennessee. Then took Zamir White. I took a chance on a rookie receiver, A.D. Mitchell, over with the Indianapolis. Then took the Tennessee running back, Tajay. Chase Brown, Pat Freiermuth as my tight end. I really punted that position. And Will Levis, my 3rd Tennessee player here at the final spot, just as a backup to Lamar Jackson. I was really looking for either a backup tight end there or a backup quarterback, just because running quarterbacks, you want to hinge your bets. You just never know. I mean, even last year, look at the amount of quarterbacks that started that were backups. Like, I think it was the most quarterbacks that started in an NFL season. Yeah. So in terms of my favorite pick here, I'd say getting Calvin Ridley in the 7th round is my favorite pick.
It's good value.
The value is just unbelievable. Like, I would argue T. Higgins in the 5th too is great value because this is the lowest we've been drafting him, period. So either of those I really like. The one pick I may take back, I could see myself swapping Lamar Jackson for Trey McBride in that 4th round and still sticking with that 0 RB and do that. And then I would have missed Anthony Richardson in the 5th. But that's okay because I don't take a tight end and a quarterback in the top 5 together. What I would have done then is went for Kyler Murray in the 6th round and would have taken maybe a running back in the 5th or just waited till the 7th round for my first running back. But that being said, Stevenson and Zamir White as my 2 guys. Stevenson wouldn't have been there, and who knows what would have happened after that. I wouldn't have gotten Ridley. The way it worked out, I'm happy with. This team, I think, could be really nasty. It's got high upside, especially Tajay if he becomes a premier back there. That helps me out. Chase Brown, same situation. Those 2 guys, backups, have opportunity to overtake the starters because the starters aren't guaranteed starters.
Sure.
And in terms of wide receiver, Calvin Ridley in the 7th round, he could be a wide receiver 2 on anybody else's team if this team does what everybody's expecting them to do.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good, solid core. I always get scared running into a 0 running back strategy, just because you don't know what the runs are going to be like, and you can lose out on a lot of really good players if you wait. And
it's true. It's true.
For me, it's very, very rare, and I don't think it's ever happened that I've waited beyond the 5th round to take a running back.
Well, and you wouldn't do it unless you were 11 or 12 because the swing is so close. You could wait till the 6th round, but like even then, unless you're 12. And it's your 5th, 6th picture, boom, boom.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I agree. I did it 1 year, and I got, I think, 4 rounds in, and then I pulled the trigger on a running back. But I think we're at a different landscape for what the running back position is in the NFL.
I still don't think, I mean, you're right, but because of that landscape, it makes those guys that are high up that do get a lot of volume that much more valuable. So why are you not going and grabbing them? We're at a different landscape with wide receivers too. Yeah, there are a lot of top end guys, but there are a lot of guys. I mean, you're looking at Josh Palmer in the 11th round. You're looking at Mike Williams there. I mean, yeah, you don't want to
Calvin Ridley in the 7th round,
right? So yes, there's a huge difference between those guys and the Jeffersons and the Devontae Adams and Michael Pittmans. I get that. But you can go and get running back. Like, you can get Michael Pittman in the 3rd round. You can go and get Amari Cooper. You can go and get George Pickens or Zay Flowers or T. Higgins. Like, there are guys there from the 3rd round to the 5th round that you can go and snag and still get a running back up top. Or, you go and get a stud running back up top, then wait a little bit. But I think that you need to go and grab one of these guys in the 5th or 6th round.
Correct.
With either Connor or Cook, Stevenson, Zamir White. Like, these guys are, once you have the drop off there, you're essentially drafting guys based on predicting injury because they're not going to have standalone value on their own.
Without it.
without it.
Without it. Yeah, well, I think the hero running back.
Like Jalen Wright, Marshawn Lloyd, they're great. They're great individual players.
Even Trey Benson.
But unless there's an injury that happens before them,
yeah,
they're not getting enough workload to make themselves fantasy relevant. And in a redraft league, they're even more volatile because they might only have 2 games that season where they are fantasy relevant. Do you have the nuts to start them?
Yeah. Well, if they are actually due to injury, yes. But if they're not due to injury,
right,
you've got to have so many people on the same bye week or massive injuries to even think about plugging them into your lineup.
Right.
Yeah, on a week-to-week basis. Like the fact that I lost a game last year because of Matt playing Chase Brown against me, and he takes that 75-yard screen pass to beat me.
Fantastic.
But he had to because of injury, period. Like
Yeah.
his options were take Chase Brown or take somebody else off the waiver, and he just happened to pick the right one. So it happens, but you don't feel good about it. You don't feel comfortable. You actually are thinking you're going to lose that week, and something may happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
sometimes the dirtiest lineups are the best lineups.
Well,
the ones that don't look good.
Yeah, the zero or hero, which is going to be the title of this entire. Well, we may or Mock Tuah may be the title of this. Mock Tuah, but yeah, Mock Tuah, zero or hero is going to be the title of this whole video. Those are 2 that I don't tend to always do because I like to have a little bit more. I don't plan for it, I should say. It's not that I don't do it. I don't plan for it because at the end of the day, if value drops, you want to go with value. You don't want to handcuff yourself to a specific way of drafting. You may fall into a category of zero running back or hero running back or tight end premium or quarterback premium type of draft. But because in the situation I was at the 11 spot, I had Puka there, which I felt comfortable taking. You still had Saquon and Jonathan Taylor, which I love those guys. But I have Puka up there in a tier on the wide receiver group higher than those guys in a tier on the running back group. And then Devontae Adams to me was neck and neck with him. Had he gone, I probably would have went Saquon or Taylor.
Yeah.
But Devontae, I could not take away that value because that guy should be a first rounder.
He should be.
So anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. Those who stuck it out this long with us, thank you. Leave a comment here on your favorite style of draft, whether it be zero running back, hero running back, tight end premium, whatever it may be. And also who you thought had the better of the drafts at the end of the day.
Clearly, it's always me.
And I would like to put out there, too, there's an opportunity. We'll see what kind of feedback we get, but would love to do a subscriber mock draft here in the next couple weeks leading up to the biggest weekend of the draft week, probably during the Mockathon week. We'll probably try and put it out there. And the first subs to join up are to be the ones who get into it. So thanks for tuning in. And as always, we'll see you next time.